My name is Xavier with the U-Hype podcast, and today we have Miss Johnson with us. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So started at the high school last year, got married this summer, so we'll be officially Mrs. Boyer. As of June 15th. We'll take on my role as an assistant principal as of this summer. This is my 11th year in education.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You said you were a counselor before?
Yeah, I was a counselor before.
What made you want to be a counselor or be a part of like a school?
Yeah. So I was just kind of one of those kids that always wanted to be a teacher. I don't remember a time that I didn't, that I wanted to be a doctor or that I wanted to be a veterinarian. I just kind of always wanted to be a teacher. So when I got out of high school, I started college as an elementary education major.
Okay.
And started teaching. So I went from classroom teacher for 4 years to counseling, and now I'm making that transition to administration. So I've always loved education, always loved the classroom. The classroom is really my first love, and I still love being in the classroom.
What school did you teach at?
Actually, I was in Missouri, in a really small rural district, McDonald County, Missouri. So different from Union. So it was a county-wide district, which means they had one high school in the county, and I think six K-8 schools. So 6 small rural schools that had pre-K through 8th grade.
Oh.
Yeah, really rural. The little communities were like population 800. And they fed into one large high school. So the buses, like the little communities were like as much as 15, 20 miles away from one high school. Very rural, poultry industry, very different from where we are.
Are you from Missouri?
I'm not from Missouri, but I'm from northeast Oklahoma, so the very corner, near Grand Lake area. Mm-hmm. So Missouri is just across it was very close to the state line. So that rural area where I taught was pretty close to where I grew up, probably 15 to 20 miles away. So when I graduated college, I graduated in December, and for a teacher in December, it's a little tough to find a job. And I got a call from Missouri, and you always say I'm never going home, right? And when I got that phone call, it's like, oh no, no. But had a job offer, made the decision to go back, and I really did. I really did love it for those few years. Great people, great opportunities there, and really fell in love with that rural life for a while. After about 5 years, I knew that it wasn't where I wanted to be forever. But I learned to rock some cowboy boots for a time, and I still have them in my closet. Pull them out once in a while.
What high school did you go to?
Grove High School. Yeah.
Did you ever get into like any trouble or anything in Grove?
Actually, I didn't get in trouble. I'm not going to say I didn't participate in trouble. I just was pretty smooth about it. So I never got caught.
You never did anything where...
I didn't say I never did anything. I just said I didn't get caught.
Okay. What...
You okay?
Yeah, they can cut. I forgot.
Yeah.
Let me look at some questions.
You gotta ask what she did.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Follow-up question. Okay, you didn't get caught, but what'd you do? What'd you do? I'm just saying.
What did you do exactly?
Oh, I skipped school a few times.
Oh, okay.
Probably snuck out of the house a few times. My mom was the type that was a little overly trusting, probably. So took advantage of that a bit. Would say I was going to the movies and maybe went out with friends once or twice. So.
And you never got caught. Okay.
I never got caught. I know. I was just always a smooth talker, I guess.
What type of music do you like, or? Like, are you into any type of music nowadays?
I'm not a big music buff. I'm the type that can turn on a radio and sing along with most songs, but if you were to ask me, who's the artist or who sings this, I typically don't know. But my husband gets really irritated with me because I often will turn on like an old country station, like 90s country or something, and he finds it pretty irritating. I guess you can attribute that to my days in like rural Missouri or something.
Okay.
But growing up on the farm, my grandfather, I say I attribute it to rural Missouri. I actually grew up on kind of in rural myself. My grandfather's a dairy farmer and things. So I'll find myself kind of listening to that, and he finds it so obnoxious because he's more of like a alternative guy. So I do listen to some of that sometimes.
Your grandfather had a dairy farm?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about
Yeah.
your childhood.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So, a lot of people think they hear Grove and they think the Grand Lake and growing up on the lake, but we lived out of town. So my grandfather was a dairy farmer, and we have my parents still have quite a lot of property. So grew up, dirt roads and riding bikes on the dirt roads, farm animals, goats, sheep, cattle, things like that. Spent most of my childhood that way. I actually went to elementary school, not in the town of Grove, but at a very rural elementary school that was just kindergarten through 6th grade. That was out in the country. So grew up that way. My parents still live out there. Farm girl, I guess you could say.
Do you have any pets now?
Just a dog.
Just a dog?
Just for myself, yeah, because I live in Tulsa.
So you didn't get you didn't follow in your grandfather's footsteps?
No, I still love going out there. My parents still live there, so I love spending the weekends on the farm.
Okay.
And on the four-wheelers and with the animals and things, but I don't live that way myself.
Okay. Do you have like a favorite travel destination or a travel spot that you like going to?
I personally love going like to the mountains, camping.
To the mountains?
Yeah, we like to go like tent camping, roughing it.
What type of, so like the mountains in Oklahoma or?
No, like Colorado. Yeah.
Colorado? Okay.
Yeah, Colorado, things like that. We actually just got back. We spent a week, just a couple weeks ago, camping and things. So we go pitch a tent. We'll go out where there's no running water, things like that, hiking and things. It's
Okay,
nice.
so you're like more of an outdoors type person.
Yeah, for sure.
So, crap, I did that again.
You're good.
Okay, let me pull out some questions. Okay, so when you decided you wanted to become did you decide you want to become a principal, or did somebody kind of like?
No, yeah, I made that decision. I went back to school. So I was classroom teaching and made the decision to transition to counseling. And so I went back and got my master's in counseling while I was in the classroom. I was teaching. And then after a few years, I made that decision again to further my career and went back and got my certification in administration.
Okay.
And made that decision. I've had that certification for about 3 years, and just was waiting for the right time, the right opportunity to come along, and have recently made that choice.
What made you decide you wanted to be a principal at Union High School?
Yeah, well, Union's of course a great place. The culture, the family feel, right?
Yeah.
Working on a team where. I work with a group of people who love students and want to see students succeed. And so knowing that, I felt like I could, become a part of that unit,
Okay.
right?
What was the best school that you've ever been to, like that you've ever like taught at or went to?
Yeah. I mean, that's hard to say. So I've worked in, I think, 3 districts.
3 districts, okay.
This is my 2nd year at Union. And,
okay.
and so far, I love Union. I love what Union stands for. I love the diversity at Union. I love that it is truly a place where, regardless of your background or where you're coming from or what your goals or ambitions are, there is an avenue for you to succeed.
Okay.
Right, and there are people standing in the gap for you that want you to succeed, and I am excited to be a part of that, and be on a team that is encouraging students in that direction, but also encouraging our teachers, right, to move in that direction.
Did you ever participate in any extracurricular activities at your high school?
Yeah, I did. So I played basketball.
You played basketball,
I
okay.
played basketball when I was in school. I still love basketball. I love sports in general. I'm an avid college football fan, so
Okay.
I love sports for the most part. I also was involved in just some leadership stuff, NHS, things like that. Was class officer, some stuff like that along the way as well.
Were you one of the best players on your team?
Oh, I don't know about that. I started for most of my career, but up through most of my high school time. But it's a small school. We were probably when I was there probably 4A.
Okay. What was your favorite college football team?
Well, I went to Oklahoma State, so of course I got to stand by my Cowboys.
OSU? You don't like OU?
No, of course I don't like OU.
Okay.
I can't like OU.
Okay. Do you have like a favorite professional team, NBA or NFL?
You know, I don't follow professional sports as much, but I have memories when I was a little girl. I always watched football with my dad, and we would, being from here and regional, would watch the Dallas Cowboys or the Chiefs. But my dad is from Maryland. He's from the Baltimore area. And when he was growing up, it was not the Ravens in Baltimore, but it was the Colts in Baltimore that are now in Indianapolis. So he always liked the Colts. And then, of course, the Baltimore Orioles. I've always followed them. They were the very first Major League Baseball game I ever went to was in Baltimore. And at that time, Cal Ripken was playing. And so I've always been a Cal Ripken fan. Have his autographed baseball, and I watched him play on the third baseline in Baltimore as a little girl. My uncle took me when we were out there visiting family and my grandparents. So
that's a neat memory.
Yeah,
right
so I've always followed the Orioles, the Colts a little bit, but I always watched the Cowboys growing up with my dad, and we would go visit family out there, and they were always Philadelphia Eagles fans. And my cousins, my older boy cousins, would just torture me, and they would, to the point of making me cry. So I always have those memories when I would wear something Dallas Cowboys, and my cousins out there would give me the hardest time.
Is there still like a rivalry going on between you guys? Or?
Well, we've outgrown it a bit, but yeah, we still rib each other a little when I see them. Yeah,
Okay, that's
now that
cool.
we're adults.
Do you have like a favorite type of food or anything? Like,
Oh.
or a favorite type of place to eat?
I do love food, but so I love like Mediterranean type food. I had an opportunity to travel to Greece when I was in college, and I fell in love with their food, like salads and fresh like feta cheese and things like that. So anytime I have an opportunity to eat like Mediterranean food, I do, and I like any good Okie love Mexican food.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
So you went to Greece. Is there like, let me think, did you go to any other place outside of the United States or?
I have been to a couple of places. So I did go to Greece and spent some time, but I've also been to Central America a few times on some mission opportunities with medical teams and things. When I was in college, I actually spent 6 weeks in Honduras.
Okay.
I've been to El Salvador. Love it there. It's beautiful. I love Central America. I look forward to going back at some point. Have some great friends there. The culture's beautiful. The people are beautiful. Just beautiful countries.
Okay. What is your, so how many places have you been to inside the United States? Is it too many to count or?
Well, yeah. I mean, off the top of my head. And a lot of that's because my dad is from kind of the East Coast. So we would always, as kids, we would drive that instead of flying it because it's expensive to fly a family of 5. I've got an older brother and a younger sister and my parents. So we would make that drive out there. He's from Maryland and kind of in the corner of the state. So while there, we would often visit. I've spent a lot of time in Philadelphia and Delaware and kind of that region of the country. His family is still there, so I've spent a lot of time out there, getting to travel into New York City and some things like that. Of course, we travel for vacation to the mountains a lot, so to Colorado and different areas. So I have been fortunate to see a lot of the country, not all of it, and there's so much more I would love to see. But
okay, is there like a place that you would like to go it's like a dream place that you want to travel to outside of the United States or inside?
Probably both. So I have never been to the Pacific Northwest in the States, like Washington, Oregon, and I really want to go. And another location is Glacier National Park, which is in northern Montana that borders Canada. It's kind of a bucket list place that I really want to go.
Okay, yeah,
Something that I want to see.
that sounds like it would be a fun trip to go to.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've just seen pictures, but it's beautiful. I want to camp
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
Yeah.
So, Mrs. Boyer,
Yes.
we do not have a lot of time left. Is there anything that you would like the students to know more about you, or anything like that?
I think mostly just I'm excited to be here. I love relationships. I'm looking forward to getting to know students. Outside of, there's so much more to this job than discipline. I think that
Yes.
APs get a bad rap. So often we see students, because of discipline, but I want to know my kids. I want to know my students. So I would like those opportunities to have conversations, to get to know them, on a personal level. I hope that can happen. Staff as well. I love classroom. I love instruction. So I'm looking forward to opportunities to just pop in and out of classroom, see what's going on, and just looking forward to a great year. Football games, basketball games, dances, all those things.
So you just want to create like more of a family atmosphere?
Yeah, for sure. In my office, yeah,
Okay.
I welcome kids to pop in and out, let me know what's going on, have a conversation outside of a referral, outside of a truancy, those types of things. So
I forgot.
looking forward to that.
Oh, my bad. I forgot to ask this. What
Yeah.
you're assistant principal for which year?
So this year's junior class and L through Z.
L through Z.
Office 3700. So you got to come find me. I'm way up there.
Yes,
But,
ma'am.
Yeah.
Well, it was very nice interviewing you
Yeah,
today.
thank you.
Nice to meet
I
you.
appreciate it.